So recently I made a video on Molinism, and Molinism in a nutshell, which you see in front of you. And I got a comment on the video that was a really good comment and asked a really good question. In fact, I was kind of hoping I'd get a question like this, and I got it. So this video seeks to answer that question. And here's the question. Calvinism rids man of free will. Arminianism rids God of omniscience. I don't get how Molinism reconciles these problems. No matter what world God actualized, doesn't his foreknowledge still predetermine our choices, thus ridding man of free will? Well, the first thing I'd want to say is I'm not sure if Arminianism rids God of omniscience. I think the main complaint on Arminianism is that it harms God's sovereignty, or doesn't give full credit due to God. And that would be the Calvinist complaint against Arminianism, at least one of them, or the main one. So what Molinism seeks to reconcile is not free will and omniscience, but rather God's sovereignty and man's free will. So it's those two things that are being reconciled. Actually, there's more that's being reconciled than that, but those are the two main things. Regardless of what world God actualized, does his foreknowledge still predetermine our choices, thus ridding man of free will? No, and that's the main point in this video that I'm going to explain. So I'm going to try to explain Molinism as quickly as possible, because somebody watching this may have no idea what that is, because they haven't watched my previous videos or whatever, which I've only made like, what, 3 or whatever. So Calvinism is basically decretal theology. They believe that there's a logical order to God's decrees, such as God decreed that some should be elect and some would be reprobate. And some Calvinists would go so far as to say God decreed that sin should happen. He's the author of sin, which, by the way, is unbiblical. Molinism, however, believes that God has one decree and places a logical order to God's knowledge instead. And what that is that God has a natural knowledge, a mental knowledge, and a free knowledge. Now here it says moment 1, moment 2, moment 3. These are not chronological moments, but rather they are logical moments. And basically, in a nutshell, what this is that God knew all the possible worlds that he could create, and he knew everything that would happen in them if he were to create them, and then he sovereignly chose to actualize one of them, and then he knows, therefore, what will happen in the one he actualized, which is the one you happen to be in. So, and the idea here is that in what God could and would create, among them maybe possibly worlds in which human persons did not have free will, and among them human worlds and worlds in which human persons do have free will. And it just so happens that God actualized the one of them that human persons do have free will. So free will was calculated into the world at which God actualized. So therefore, however, this then creates the question that was brought up. So if God actualized a particular world where you make specific choices, how do you have genuine free will? If everything's set in stone, because God actualized a particular world, God determined it, then how is free will genuine? Okay, so let's say that you have 3 monitors in front of you. They each represent 3 possible worlds in which Larry here is in a particular event. So Larry has to make a free will response to this event. Now, Larry can make 3 choices, and you watch him make each choice, 1 per monitor. So each monitor, Larry makes one of those choices. And you can watch the outcome of those choices. So Larry makes genuine free will choices in each monitor. Now let's say you have the power to actualize one of those worlds, and you pick the middle monitor. That means that then monitor 1 and 3 then become counterfactual. What you have done is you've actualized the setting in which Larry finds himself in, however he freely and genuinely responds to it. Say that you're in an ice cream parlor, and by the way, I shouldn't say Larry's choice up there anymore, but oh well, whatever. So let's say you are at an ice cream parlor, and let's say now that you have 3 choices: strawberry ice cream, chocolate, or vanilla. And so, let's say God's doing the watching of the monitors, and God watches you make each choice, and then God actualizes, let's say again, the middle monitor. So God actualizes a world in which you choose chocolate. Now, yes, this does mean that you, in that actual world, were never ever going to choose strawberry or vanilla. However, the option to do so was completely genuine, and your choosing the chocolate was completely genuinely free. God just actualized the setting you found yourself in. You freely responded to it. Now, it could also be that in every possible world, you always choose chocolate. So even though you have strawberry and vanilla genuinely available to you as a choice, you always choose chocolate in every possible world. So therefore, the reason why God actualized a world in which you choose chocolate is because that's the choice you always make. So there's that possibility to think of. So, like it or not, human free will exists via God's permission. You make your free will choices that you make based on God's permitting it to happen. In fact, everything outside of God is via God's permission. When God caused creation, He permitted something to exist other than God. So everything, the universe and everything it entails, is continues to exist based on God's permitting it, and that's just the way it is. So Calvinists are correct when they say that God is sovereign over everything and determined everything. However, they are incorrect when it comes to human free will. Human free will, on Molinism, human free will was calculated into the world at which was actualized. So hopefully this video doesn't cause any confusion and clear some stuff up. And thank you for watching, and God bless.